Brexit Minister Steve Baker in the House of Commons today confirmed Britain will strengthen our surveillance capability to enforce Britain's rights after the UK leaves the European Union. Mr. Baker also hinted at a potential funding increase for the Royal Navy, as he vowed the government will make sure the Navy has the appropriate capacity that is required to patrol our waters and enforce regulations as required. The fishery limits of England, Wales, and Northern Ireland are currently patrolled by the Royal Navy's oldest frontline squadron, the Fishery Protection Squadron, which is made up of 3 River-class offshore patrol vessels. His remarks come as Philip Hollowbone, the Tory MP for Kettering, told Mr. Baker that the common fisheries policy was the very worst aspect of our EU membership. As he reiterated, when we leave the European Union we leave the common fisheries policy. The Tory MP said, on that day the armada of EU trawlers that have been plundering Britain's historic fishing grounds since 1973 are not going to be happy that their best years are behind them. Will you ensure that the Royal Navy has the resources it needs to protect our sovereign waters and ensure the rebirth and renaissance of the British fishing industry? Mr. Baker replied, "What I would say to you is we do hope to reach an agreement in our mutual interests, but as the Prime Minister made clear in her Mansion House speech, we are leaving the common fisheries policy." Earlier this month, at the Prime Minister's speech at Mansion House, Theresa May declared the UK will regain control over its fisheries and access to our waters after Brexit, as she outlined Britain's future after leaving the European Union. Getty Brexit News. Philip Hollowbone was reassured that the Royal Navy will be bolstered to protect the other. Prime Minister set out her 5 tests for a Brexit deal, where she vowed to take control of our borders, laws and money. As part of her Brexit strategy, Mrs. May confirmed the UK would be leaving common agricultural policy and the common fisheries policy in a bid to regain control of our waters and fishing industry. The Prime Minister said, "We are leaving the common agricultural policy and will want to take the opportunity that brings to reform our agriculture and fisheries management. The UK has among the highest environmental and animal welfare standards of any nation on earth. As we leave the EU we will uphold environmental standards and go further to protect our shared natural heritage." Parliament TV. Brexit News. Steve Baker vowed the Royal Navy will be given the appropriate capacity. Britain will strengthen the Royal Navy's surveillance capability. Steve Baker: "We are also leaving the common fisheries policy. The UK will regain control over our domestic fisheries management rules and access to our waters. The Royal Navy security boost post-Brexit is also likely to be welcomed by the British public as tensions escalate with Russia over the chemical attack on Sergei Skripal and daughter earlier this month. Russia regularly tests the patience of its European rivals by buzzing rival territory using jets and ships. In January, the Royal Navy frigate HMS Westminster was sent to intercept the Russian warships in the English channels just months after a similar incident. 2. February 8, 2018, civil servants anti-Brexit. Russia's largest anti-submarine destroyer sailed through the channel as it visited 4 foreign ports: Limassol, Cyprus, Salalah, Oman, Alexandria, Egypt, and Lisbon, Portugal, last November. The Royal Navy had to respond to several incidences of Russian Navy vessels entering British waters last year, including 2 sanctioned Moscow ships in April. Navy Admiral Michelle Howard had earlier warned there is now more Russian naval activity in Europe than at any point in the Cold War.